Alright, initial test run of the Palm Mower cutter blade, which is installed right here in the front using the 775 motor, metal cutting blade at the bottom, installed on our modified tank chassis. Our battery right now is currently charged up to 13 volts. I have a set-down buck voltage regulator right there that's going to bring it down to about 5 volts for the battery, or for the motor to run on, and it is currently working. Comes up to speed. So we have function at 5 volts. We gotta test this out and make sure it's working. It seems well balanced enough right now. So that's a quick little test right there. So we're gonna do a quick time test. Right now the battery is at 13 volts. The solar panel is currently in direct sunlight, and the voltage output is dropped down to 5 volts to the motor, which I'm going to keep running and see how long the motor actually will go before it drops down to the 5 volt limit of the cutter mower. So let's turn it on. Spins up. And I put my makeshift shroud on. Shroud is on, that way it doesn't hurt anybody. And drop it down by a volt. And we're gonna see how long it takes for it to get all the way down to 5 volts. Alright, and about 15 minutes later, we're only down to 12.8 volts, which is not bad at all. Alright, checking in on it after 30 minutes. Put a brick on the box just to make sure that it doesn't tip over. And we are at 12.8 volts. So this is a combination of it charging and the battery at the same time. You can still hear it humming in there. Yeah, I can probably bump the voltage up from 5 volts to maybe 6 or 7 volts and have a faster cutting blade on there without too much drain on it. Alright, so at this point it's been running for 45 minutes. It's only dropped down to 12.7 volts, and what I've done is actually increase the output voltage of our voltage regulator here to about 6.5 volts. So it's spinning at a much higher pace. I just did a little test with it a couple minutes ago. It blows right through grass and taller weeds. It will do the job just fine. So probably going to sit it at 6.5 volts for right now. It's spinning plenty fast, and it's not going too crazy, putting too much vibration on the whole unit itself. It's still going to be in the box for a little bit longer. One thing I am noticing is that the voltage regulator is getting pretty toasty, so I'm going to have to probably come up with a heat sink idea for that. Alright, let's see how it goes from here. I'm going to run it for another 30 minutes and see what happens. Alright, so after about 30 minutes of it running with the solar panel attached in direct sunlight, there was virtually no extra change in voltage. At most it dropped down to 12.7 volts from 13 volts. So what I'm going to do now is run it at 12.9 volts without any solar power assist. So this is purely coming right from the battery running this. The voltage regulator is set to output at 6.5 volts. And I also updated the connections on the motor right here. It was just wrapped around. I soldered the connections to the motor. So what we're going to do is do exactly the same thing that we did before, where I'm going to flip it on, make sure it gets up to speed. And then what I'm going to do is run it for about another 20-30 minutes, checking up on it every now and then. And then see how it goes from there. So we're already at 12.7 volts, which is probably just a drop from the motor itself, drawing power from the battery. And we'll see where it goes from here. This is, again, no solar panel assist. The solar panel is completely disconnected. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, so I've been running with just the battery for a little over half an hour now, and I'm only down to 12.7 volts with the the motor running. Let's flip it off and see what we jump back up to. So 2.8 volts. So we had a total drop of 0.1 volts after running the motor at 6.5 volts for 30 minutes. No solar panel assist. So that's pretty good. Maybe I got too big of a battery. Well, yeah, let's see, is this hot? Nope, this is relatively cool. I know this sucker is probably hot. Yeah, this definitely needs a heat sink on it, the voltage regulator. I need to get a heat sink on that thing, help keep it cool. Other than that, yeah, the battery's not overheating. Yeah, I think we're good. This is definitely a good system test for the cutter mower, or the cutter blade itself, so I think we're good there.